Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat. Today we've just heard the announcement that Jurgen Klopp will leave Liverpool this summer. It's huge news. Wanted to get on here, quickly do a video on it. Jurgen Klopp to leave Liverpool. I mean, it's the biggest shock. I think what made this so interesting is there's been no Fabrizio Romano, no David Ornstein, none of that around it. It's simply just been announced out of the blue. And I think it's definitely come as quite a shock. Nobody really saw Klopp leaving. He's in quite a secure position. They're quite a good side. They're still winning quite successfully. I mean, they're top of the Premier League right now. So this is huge news. It's something we've not seen in football or in the Premier League. A huge shift in a manager who's at the top of their game leaving. Not really since Sir Alex Ferguson. I think the two do draw, really compelling parallels. Both have left a top side at a really crucial moment. I think actually the knock-on effect could be as detrimental for Liverpool as it has been for Man United. If you look at Man United, obviously Sir Alex left in 2014. Since then, this just keeps getting worse. I think they've won, I want to say 4 trophies in that time potentially. So Liverpool, I think there will be a lot of concerns. If they go down the same road as United did with Sir Alex, they're in a lot of trouble here, Liverpool. But before we talk about potential replacements or any that sort of stuff, I want to talk about Klopp then, because he has created such a legacy and I think it deserves to be spoken about. That's why I wanted to do a video now. Talk about that legacy and obviously, more importantly at the end, talk about who's going to replace him. But let's start with his legacy then. 9 years in charge. Obviously, in that time, he won the Champions League with Liverpool. He also won the Premier League with Liverpool. And that Premier League was an elusive trophy for Liverpool. It's the only one they've not won, really. I know, obviously, Club World Cup and stuff like that, but who's really involved by that? The Premier League's the big one, and the fact Liverpool hadn't won it for so long, I think, made when they won it even more special. And actually, the fact that Klopp's only won one comes as a bit of a surprise. You have to think back, they did only win one under Klopp's reign, which I guess you could say is a bit of an underachievement. There was that season where they scored 90-odd points and still finished second to City, and actually I think that is harsh on Klopp that he was in the Pep Guardiola era, but that's how it goes, isn't it? You can't beat Man City. But yeah, still a Premier League title in that time, potentially a second one this season. That would be incredible. They're still in the Europa League. They've won the Champions League under Klopp as well and reached 2 other finals that they've lost. So a very successful period for Liverpool. He took over in 2015, a side that was incredibly, I wouldn't say weak, but misguided and underperforming. They had such a weird mismatch and clash of personalities and players. They'd just lost Steven Gerrard was about to go. They'd just lost Daniel Sturridge, I believe, was either injured or was about to go. Suarez had gone to Barcelona. So their real time of turmoil. They had a young Sterling in the side at the time, who again was about to go to Man City. They had a real disarray at the club. And he came in and he oversaw over a 9-year period a change from one of arguably the most underperforming sides in England or all of English football, and turned them into one of the most formidable, one of the most competitive season after season after season. Other than the 2020 campaign, Liverpool have been up in that top 3 conversation every single year. And I mean, at the moment they are favourites to win the Premier League, you'd have to say, given their current lead. So yeah, he's created a real legacy at Liverpool. And if you look at the team now, I did see quite an interesting point made that if you look at what you would presume is his best side, that 2019 team, and you take all the players that you would expect to start every game, they only played once because of rotation and injuries and whatever. So yeah, he's done really well. He's built a really good squad. Given their lack of depth over time, I think that's incredible squad management. If you look at the fact that, I mean, Van Dijk has always been obviously their starting centre half, but they've never really had a backup to him. When Van Dijk got injured in that season in 2020, they had a complete mess. And I actually think, given what he's achieved without the money that Manchester City have or the recruitment staff that Manchester City have, given he's been able to remain competitive with that Pep Guardiola winning machine, I think that's incredibly impressive. So Klopp's done very, very well, and I think he will be remembered as one of Liverpool's greatest ever, if not the greatest ever manager. I think it's going to be difficult to compete with Shankly, but still, Klopp, an incredible manager, and I think he deserves his plaudits because he has taken Liverpool from almost obscurity. Not obscurity, they're mid-table in the Premier League, but he's taken them from a place where they weren't that strong after losing the title they threw their title obviously, and then Brendan Rodgers' terrible start to that 2015 season. He came in October, and he's over this 9 years, he's completely transformed that team. So he deserves all credit for that. But what this means for Liverpool's season then? Now, a lot of people are looking at this as, Klopp's going to go. Is he still motivated? Is he still desiring that title as much as possible. I think this motivates him more. I think, one, it motivates Klopp more because he'll be keen to ensure he goes out on a high, but it also motivates Liverpool more because these players will go. I mean, I think Klopp's one of the best examples of a I would run for a brick wall for him type manager. He's someone who has such confidence and trust and belief in his players, and he inspires those same qualities in his players that I think he's going to have a squad he's culminated a squad that want to fight for him, that want to win a title for him. And actually, I think that, if anything, this spurs them on more because this is Klopp's last season. They'll be keen to go out on a high, and I think they may well do that. They're 2 points clear of City. Well, 5 obviously, but with the game in hand still to play, they're technically 2 points. Let's count that as a win, 2 points clear. So, yeah, for me, Liverpool are the favourites from here. They've only got to beat City and win every other game, or keep track with City for the rest of the season. Then they get the title. So, I think it's definitely doable. Given the fact they don't have Champions League as well, I mean, they can rotate in those European competitions, which gives them a better chance as well, or just bin off the Europa League entirely, because they're not really bothered by that. They've also got the Carabao Cup final, which, as a Chelsea fan, I'm worried about now, because again, Liverpool will be keen to ensure he goes out with trophies. So, overall, I think they'll have a better season this year, and I think Liverpool fans quite rightly absolutely love Jurgen Klopp and appreciate him for what a successful and incredible reign he's had in charge at Liverpool. But now for the more interesting bit. Who should replace him? A couple options. I haven't really had time to delve through options like usually. I come up with some really nuanced takes. None of that today. I'm just what I've seen on Twitter. A couple names have been thrown around. Let's discuss them. The first one I saw, which made me laugh, and I want to talk about it, is Jose Mourinho. Now, this is not going to happen. I'm convinced this is not going to happen, but I just want to talk about this. I just want to laugh about it, really, because could you imagine if Jose Mourinho was at Liverpool? That would be chaos. Him and Salah reuniting, him and the Anfield atmosphere and the crowd, he'd get them going. If anything, they might turn on him and it might create an even better, more hostile atmosphere, but a lot of fun as a neutral. It would be either, it's a mismatch of stars because Liverpool's side is suited to gegenpressing football, which isn't really how Mourinho plays at all. Mourinho's very part of the bus, but yeah, I think it would be really amusing to watch Mourinho on the touchline at Anfield and try and tick off as many Premier League clubs as he can. But yeah, that one I had to throw it in there because I thought it was quite funny. The other one I saw was Pep in Linders, which is another one I don't really see happening. I think Liverpool will be keen to... if you look at what Man United did wrong, they went and got David Moyes. Whether that was wrong or whether that was just, the luck they got unlucky, you can argue either way. But I think Pep Linders would be a huge mistake because I know he's very Klopp. He knows same fundamentals of football, so you get the carryover of system, and I think that maybe works for the first season because there's not a lot of change there other than you lose a big motivator. And Klopp, I think it's slightly less successful, but I think with Linders, you keep a very similar play style, so therefore the results should be fairly similar to what they're seeing now. It's just those games where you need that difference, that manager who's going to motivate you. That's what you lack, I think, with Pep Linders. But I don't think he's the guy to take him forwards long term, and I don't really see that happening. For me, there's a really obvious option here, and that is the current manager of Bayer Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso, former Liverpool player, former Real Madrid player, former Bayern Munich player. He's been coached by Ancelotti, Mourinho, Guardiola, Rafa Benitez. He is an incredible player. Xabi Alonso, incredible player, and now is becoming an incredible manager. And I think he makes the most sense. When they brought in Klopp in 2015, they brought in a manager who only had very limited experience. He had, 4 or 5 years at Mainz, handful of seasons because he does 5-year periods, doesn't he? So I think 5 years at Mainz, 5 years at Dortmund, if I remember correctly. But he didn't have loads of experience. He came in as a really exciting young manager and built that team over time. And I think that's what they need. Another project manager. Liverpool, for me, don't really suit that 2-3 year period manager. Those Jose Mourinho's, journeyman managers like Rafa Benitez, for example. I think Xabi Alonso makes sense. He'd come in and give them a whole new identity. Now, that transition isn't going to be easy because you'd be moving from a Xabi Alonso system, which is much more Guardiolian in its form because it's quite possession-based. A lot of passes, obviously, that comes with the nature of possession-based football, and a lot slower. And then suddenly you see the spring into life, that counter-attacking style, which is quite Kloppian. So there is an option there that Xabi Alonso is not too far removed, but I think that would be quite an adjustment But I think they can make it work, obviously. I still think the same quality players would be good in the Xabi Alonso system. Obviously, whether or not he'd stick with the 3-4-2-1 he's using at Bayer Leverkusen remains to be seen. Would that fit Liverpool? Potentially. I mean, Trent as right wing back definitely could work. Salah playing a little bit more, a little narrower, also could work. So I think there's, it does fit. Whether or not he wants to join remains to be seen, because if Bayer Leverkusen win the title this year, why jump ship? But I guess that is a question only he can answer. Obviously, Real Madrid have been snooping around him, and there was rumours he would go to Real, but with Ancelotti renewing his contract, I don't see that happening. The other option for Liverpool is wait and see what happens with Julian Nagelsmann. So Julian Nagelsmann obviously is the Germany manager right now, but I'd see what happens at the Euros, because Germany on home soil, if they lose every game, which I don't see happening, but you never know. If they lose every game, Nagelsmann's available. Does that suit Liverpool better? Certainly. So potentially that's a better option. In terms of other options there, because I think Alonso's the best one. In terms of other options, Roberto De Zerbi could be an option. Would it fit what Liverpool are looking to do? Not really. I think if you look at the squad right now, yes, they could adjust to De Zerbi, but a lot of their players are older players. So to ask them to adjust for De Zerbi system could be quite difficult. But you have got players like Macassar that have played under De Zerbi before. I think a lot of the attackers are suited anyway to De Zerbi. It's just that defensive and possession-based play, because again, De Zerbi's very possession-based, very loves his positional play, the Pep Guardiola stuff, which is very different, very distinct from what Jurgen Klopp does with his gegenpressing, with his counter-attacking football, generating transitions. It's not really the same type or same brand of football. So I don't think De Zerbi is the correct fit. And I think actually he will probably be lined up to be Guardiola's replacement, which is another thing that will be coming soon. And the Premier League may well be about to go through a lot of change, because we've got Arsenal really coming into their own. So they're going to be up there now. Tottenham, the same with Ange Postecoglou pushing them up. And I think there's big opportunities for those two coaches, and potentially Chelsea as well, if they get their act together, to be the big three. We could have all three London clubs fighting for titles. United at the moment, this is a perfect opportunity to seize, because you've got Liverpool, who are in a bit of, I wouldn't say confusion or disarray, but there's definitely a sense of not knowing what's going to happen. A little bit of jeopardy at Liverpool right now. With Man City as well, with Pep Guardiola's future still up in the air. I know he's got a contract till 2025, I believe. So, yeah, I think there's still another season and a half with him, but at least. But there's every chance that Pep does go in this summer. And even if he doesn't go till next summer, there's still that jeopardy for Manchester City. How do you replace Pep Guardiola? How do you replace Jurgen Klopp? They're the two biggest questions in the Premier League. So we are at a big transitional stage now for the English Premier League. And this one, it opens the door to two possibilities. One is we get a really exciting few years of the Premier League where we don't know what's going to happen. A transitional period where anyone could rise to the top. And actually, there's other clubs that could be poised perfectly to take advantage of that. Could it be Newcastle? Could it be Aston Villa? Both, I think, in that position where with Liverpool and potentially City dropping out of that top, out of the fight for the title, I think you open up an opportunity for someone else to win it. And I think Aston Villa are one of the ones that are primed for it. Obviously, Arsenal and Tottenham, as I've mentioned. I think Newcastle could be up there. I think Chelsea, if they get their act together. I don't think Man United right now. Just pure bias. But yeah, I think that's definitely an open opportunity. The other one is the Super League. Because City, that's the other thing with City. City may just be kicked out of the league. In fact, if fairness comes through, if justice comes through, the Manchester City will be is it expelled, I think is the correct term, expelled from the Premier League. Meaning, I think there's a door and a window for the Super League, which is worrying to a certain extent, because we quite like the English football pyramid and the way it evenly distributes wealth throughout the pyramid. But yeah, I know, I get why the Super League, why they want the Super League to happen. It makes the teams more money, but I really hope that this whole situation doesn't result in that. But yeah, so City could be gone out of the league. Liverpool losing their manager. We're at a real point of flux now in the Premier League where anything could happen. And I'm excited to see where the Premier League goes from here. But in terms of Klopp, well done on his 9 years in charge. And I'm interested to see where he goes next. There is a few rumours that this will be his last job in management, which if it is, then I'm, Very glad to have got to watch his teams play. I have a sneaking suspicion it won't be his last job, because I don't know obviously his personal motivations. I'm not best friends with him, but I'd be intrigued as to why he wouldn't want the Germany job, because I think that will become available after this summer. I don't see Nagelsmann and Germany being a huge success at the Euros. I think therefore they'll get rid of Nagelsmann, and I think they'll bring in Klopp. That would be my prediction as to where Klopp goes next. I don't really see what other club he goes to. I don't think he'd go to Barcelona. Real don't have the door open right now. I don't see him returning to Dortmund. So I think Germany's sort of the crowning achievement, isn't it? There's no up here from Klopp. You could say a Barcelona, but I don't see that happening. So for me, Klopp will end up probably going to Germany, or this will be it. In which case, congratulations on a great career, Jurgen. But that's everything for today. Give your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of thoughts and comments and speculation around this topic. So get involved in the comments below. That's everything for today. Thank you very, very much for watching. It's a very different video. There's no Harry here, just me. I wanted to hop on quickly and give my thoughts. Thank you very, very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.